Let's get into it. The first Friday show of 2025. We're going to find out exactly what happens when we match two cards. And that's when we talk about Bardcard. This is the latest iOS accessible game that Mike Feir has been diving into, and he's going to tell us all about it. We have myself, Ramia Amuddin, Brock Richardson, and Nisreen Abdelmajid on today's edition of Kelly and Company.
This is Kelly and Company.
Guys, I feel like a kid at home when the parents are gone out to party. Like, this is our last Kelly and Company show before Kelly comes back on Monday. So is there
Before the
anything that we
adult
just need
comes
to
back.
do? Yeah. Before the grown-ups come home, we need
Mhm.
to do everything that we do when the parents aren't home. So is there anything that you just want to get off your
Kelly
chest? You
watching
know?
this just yeah.
Yeah.
I
When it
can see
releases, we
Kelly
still
just
have some
watching it.
buffer time. 'Cause we're recording
Yeah.
in the morning, the show's coming out at 2 p.m., and between now and 2 p.m., is there anything that you just wanna get off your chest? Brock?
It sounds like you wanna
Nazi?
get off something. You
You
No,
want
know,
something
you
to
know,
get off your chest.
I'm giving you
you
the
know.
opportunity.
I'll tell you what I want to get off my chest, and I actually made this remark to Kelly, so he knows about it. But
Okay.
you and I did this show on Monday, before the holidays, and I got teased because normally I come in for the half an hour shows, and you asked me if I wanted to tag along for the hour show, and
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh, the hour was so much fun, and now we're back to the half an hour again."
Now
So
back to
it's
that brother.
like,
You got demoted
well,
again.
yeah, yeah. I was promoted for like 1 day, 1 hour, and now we're back to that,
Yeah.
which I
Yeah.
still love. But I dipped my
Right.
toe in the water, and I was like, "Oh, this is so much fun," and now we're back to the
And
half
you did so well. Remember we had a psych breakdown with Fern Lone? That was a nice show.
yeah.
Mhm.
I don't know if you I don't
Nazi?
know if you were trying to tell me something that I needed a psych breakdown on that show,
No.
but we went
No.
through it, so
Yeah, you were good. You had a lot to say
Mhm.
about that. Was it
yeah.
again? I can't remember the conversation, but it was like, oh, right, fake it till you make it. Confidence.
Yes.
Nazi, is there anything you wanted to say to Kelly while he's not
Oh
here
boy. Well,
or
you're still
about
here,
him?
so it's like still the same, you know.
What? Guys,
Oh.
I'm cool. I
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I'm not a grown up.
Usually cool people don't say that they're cool. You
You
don't
know,
have to
it
prove it. Am I right, Brock?
yeah. Okay. All
Absolutely.
right.
We just
I
have
think
that
that's a
Well,
giveaway.
confidence.
Yeah.
it feels like when my brother tells me that I need to stop saying certain words because I'm in my 30s now. And then I
Oh my
reminded him that
god.
he's almost 25, which is closer to 30 than
Yeah.
he's ever been. Yeah, exactly.
I get reminded by my little cousins, like,
Mhm.
what I can say and what I cannot say,
Yeah,
so it's
what
fun
happens
when people tell you what you can say. Um,
when you have
but yeah, I feel like
intergenerational
you're still an
relationships.
adult sometimes, at least
Sometimes?
around
Yeah,
me.
but I'm not
Yeah.
Kelly when Kelly's not here, right? It's a totally different vibe. It's way
It's a
more
different
chill.
vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotta love cows.
Yeah, I gotta love how you humor me. Let's talk serious stuff now. Okay, this is a real serious guy. We're gonna
Okay.
talk finances with Ryan Chin. Well, first of all, we're talking about the Canadian Social Survey because that was released earlier. What in 2024, Ryan, or like 2 days ago?
Yeah, earlier
Okay,
this year. It was
2024.
launched in about August.
Okay. And it reported that rising prices do not affect all Canadians to the same extent. We can practically understand why that is, but individuals from lower income groups are struggling more financially due to rising prices than those in higher income groups. And this, like I said, rising prices do have a disproportionate impact on lower income people in Canada. We kind of
Mhm.
know this, but let's break down why so we can get into this chat.
Yeah, for sure. And you know what? When we think about it, thank you so much, Romeo. And you know what?
Mhm.
Sorry to bring such a serious topic on a Friday
We
before the
need
parents get
to.
back.
We need
But
to.
uh,
Yeah.
but you know what? We're living it, and it's the new year, and we're
Mhm.
all
Yeah.
sort of in that mode of we've just spent, money through the holidays. We've just purchased gifts. We've just, purchased meals, and we've been out spending, right? Like, and
Mhm.
we know that over the last couple years, inflation has really impacted the cost of things. And it was amplified over the last 2 years for sure. But, when we think about it, the cost of goods, when prices are going up, it affects us as individuals, our ability to buy homes, our ability, do we need to go to a food bank? Can we afford groceries? Can we afford, and some people, it really does even affect their psyche in terms
Yeah.
of, like, I don't want to go out because I can't afford that item and I don't want everyone else to see that.
Break down for us because you have some examples here of exactly what that feels like. The I don't want to go out because dot dot dot. And we all do this where we compare, back in the day, this used to be X and now it's Y. And I can't believe how expensive everything is. Gas prices, example. Where people do
Mhm.
remember the dollar amounts. And it's
Yeah, I
unreal
mean,
how much things have
they
changed.
jump, they
Hmm.
jump. And I think for the most part they incrementally go up. I mean, I'm more of the Kelly age than the Remy age, but I remember when the old Swiss Chalet commercial, two can dine for 9.99, and
Oh.
I think today it's two can dine, it might be 18 or 19.99 now. So
Ooh.
like that's quite a jump, and it's just part of our regular vernacular now.
If
I
if
remember
those
when
prices were still happening, I would never like cook again. I w- I would be at Swiss Chalet
the
24/7.
9.99, right?
Yeah.
Well, remember when
Oh,
Cineplex Tuesdays was $5 for the movies?
I would
Now I
be
can't
at
even
the
remember
movies
what it is.
every other Tuesday or something. That
Yeah,
was the best.
and we were. And we were. But
Yeah.
Ryan, how long ago were we talking? Like the incremental changes, absolutely, right? Like that little chocolate vanilla sundaes that used to be at the convenience stores with the terrible wooden spoons used to be 25 cents. Now I don't even see them, but I would assume they'd be like 2.50. But when was there a recent jump and were there some reasons why that happened?
Yeah, and I mean the largest, I will say, singular jump we noticed in the last 2 years.
Okay.
When COVID hit, um, supply and demand was quite, I'll say, affected. And just to give a little reminder about inflation, inflation has three aspects: the increase of demand with lack of supply,
Mhm.
the increase of supply with lack of demand, and then baked in inflation. And the baked in side is more salaries and just sort of that cost of doing that business. And we in the last 2 years went through a major transition where all aspects of inflation hit us at once. And
Mm.
usually that sort of spreads out longer over time. And so when we talk about 5 years ago, I bet you could find those ice cream scoops for 50 cents, whereas today that would be a pipe dream. I mean, how many people remember the commercial $5 footlongs? That
Oh
i don't
gosh.
think i don't think they have those anymore, but
No. That wasn't
and that
even that
was
long ago.
just very
Yeah.
recent. So, the cost of goods and services have certainly spiked, so much so, when we think about even buying a house, folks sort of that, 20 to 35 years old, when they think about buying a house, it's just not on the table. It's just
Mm-mm.
too cost
no.
prohibitive. And,
Mhm.
they say and I mean, prime example, we were sitting with stepchildren over the holidays, and my stepson says, hey, I don't mind paying the rent, but the fact that I'm paying somebody else's mortgage, I mind that. And that is
Oof.
something. And if he were,
Wow.
say, paying us rent, the sense of satisfaction is a little different because he's living and supporting a family versus
Sure.
supporting a stranger. And I think that that is part of this whole psychological payment as well, when we're out there and we want to grow our future, and prices are just so out of reach.
I
You
can
know, it's so
remember when
interesting. Yeah, go ahead.
I can remember recently my wife and I had thought, maybe we'll move and we'll find something that's more of a forever home. We were still renting, but like we looked at the prices and it's like even if we were to, come out of our current apartment and go back in again, you're looking at $700-800 more just to come back into the same place. And so even the pipe
Mhm.
dream of like, oh, we're only gonna stay here for 2, maybe 3 years, it's like no, we're now going on 7, 8, 10 years, and it's happening to multiple people. And
Mhm.
like just to go back on your earlier point, like I remember Tuning Tuesdays at KFC. That is like long gone, and I think that's now it might be $5 or $6. Like all these things, inflation is just killing people.
It's very much like you said, there are a lot of strains, right? Like mental health, or understanding of money and goals. When you're talking about the rental thing, like it used to be just the conversation was so vague. You either rent or you own. You either afford a mortgage or you rent and then you put away the money that you would put into a mortgage into savings, right? And then it grows separately. Now, what you're saying, Ryan, when you say like people are having the discussion about where my rent is going, whose mortgage am I paying if it's not my family's or mine, or like a support system that is going to benefit me in the future at some point, like the trickle effect, that feels like a different kind of outrage. Um, I say outrage because I think like a lot of us are in very similar boats where we're just like, we don't have that straight cut path anymore to owning houses. Now, I know that the Canadian government is doing a bit more nowadays, right? There's been some changes in down payments and percentage and things like that that could help people own homes or get into the housing market. But
It is true. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah. So
Yeah, but
that's
the
my
supply, I
question.
think yeah, the supply
Right.
becomes the difficulty, right? So
Exactly.
if the
Yeah.
cost
Yeah,
of the
there's a whole
home
other aspect of
yeah,
housing problems.
yeah. I mean, if the cost of the home is too much, and then,
Yeah.
who can afford $1 million house? And today $1 million home is very popular when you think about it. And just a few short years ago, I mean, I bought my first home when I was about 20 years ago, and I my home was under $200,000.
Mhm.
And today, that same house would be worth well over 1 million. And
Exactly.
it's something where we have to really pay attention to. I mean, to your point, Romeo, with respect to, we as citizens trying to plan out our future, it's
Mhm.
truly important to make that distinction, because you said a very good thing, which is, yes, we used to rent and then we put a little extra money aside to save towards me purchasing that home. We all need to live somewhere. We all rent and or mortgage is part of our we have to live somewhere. um but it's having the choice to put your money to use, and to the best use for your future, I think, is the key. I mean, it's one of the reasons financial planners stress so much with folks that, hey, make sure you're saving, make sure you're paying yourself first, make sure you're putting some money aside to build up your nest egg, because the cost of a dollar today, as we spend a dollar today, we know that as inflation continues, it will lessen the value of that dollar in the future.
Right. And okay, so to kind of wrap things up, my question really is there something that is never going to change, Ryan? Like, obviously, even within our own lifetimes, we're seeing there's so many changes. Geographically, not much has changed. Like, we're all kind of living where we started off, but so much has changed financially that our circumstances are absolutely not what we would have thought or my parents would have thought for us when we were younger, right? Like, the landscape has changed dramatically. So, are there certain things that don't change? Like you said, put away money, save, save, save. Your future needs it. Is there anything we can kind of rely on?
Yeah, we can always rely on the ever evolving change.
Oh, come on.
Change will always be in play. We will always
We'll
see
never know the
something
value of
new.
our dollar in 10 years. Right. Okay.
Well, it's
Thanks.
the truth. I mean, at the end of
Not
the day,
helpful.
there's so much that will evolve and change. I mean, you know,
Yeah.
think of it. When I don't know, when I was growing up, I don't know if you had this, but you know the old telephone that used to hang on the wall in the kitchen and
Mhm.
you would
Uh,
answer that.
With the
And
squiggly
if you
cord,
weren't,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. And if you weren't home, you missed the call. And I mean, now you've got that thing in your pocket.
Well, I mean, we used to have voicemail, Ryan. I don't know about you. Maybe voicemail wasn't invented?
The birds didn't chisel out the voicemail, you know.
No. Okay. Right,
Mhm.
thank you so much. Lots to think about, but it's good we're getting it out of the way at the start of the year. Maybe something more fun next time, huh?
Ah, you bet, you bet.
Okay, take care. Ryan Chin, he's a financial planner. And to learn more about financial literacy, he and Becky Armstrong have a whole series out on podcast called Eyes on Your Money. It's an AMI original. It is fantastic. Go and binge the whole thing. Um, yeah, guys, let's move to Mike Fair because we're like halfway through the show now. We all know that's
Isn't
the
it insane?
halftime show. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Brock's back and we got to make the best out of him for the half
Time
hour.
is
uh,
So,
flying.
it's flying. Mike, you're always here for audio entertainment stuff with us, and you've been deeply enjoying, these are your words, a uniquely accessible iOS game from Rascal Magic Studios. It's called Bardcard, and it combines memory matching with an adventure role playing game that is inclusive of blind players. So, describe to us exactly what it is.
So, yeah, this is a really interesting, different sort of game. I've never found one quite like it before. So, the idea behind this is you're in a your brother has gone missing, and you're under. You have to rescue him, going underground into this dungeon below this old retro arcade, and so it's a kind of a modern fantasy kind of thing. So you're in this strange dungeon world, and you explore it by means of matching cards. So there might be a floor might have cards 1 to 20, and they're numbered, and that's you basically flip cards up, and you see what they are. So you flip one up and it says, "Oh, it's a monster." You flip another up and it's
Mm,
a torch, and so then you have to remember, okay, the torch was card 2. So if I ever find another card that's a torch, if I can go back and then flip up the card 2, then I get that torch, right? And you can use that torch. Darkness has effects in this game too. So the exploration is all done by matching cards, and then you see what happens next. So you match a couple of cards that are a monster, and now you've got to defeat that monster in battle, um, or you find cards that are treasures and things. So if you can try to flip those cards over in such a way that you encounter you uncover um, cards that are advantageous first. Like if you get a torch, you can use that to burn a monster that's attacking you, as
right.
well as lighting the room. So there are things you want to try to do first if you can, and it's that strategy. Each time you flip cards over, you're using energy, so eventually you starve. So there are statistics outside of these cards. There's health, there's life, there's
Oh,
so there's money. You have to spend money sometimes to get things. So it's a very different kind of that sort of amalgamation of role playing and this card matching at the core of everything.
okay. Super easy follow-up question. The cards don't change, right? That's the memory part of it. Like you got to remember
Yeah,
which card you flipped for what reason and why that'll be beneficial for you.
yeah, that's right. The cards stay in position. And now sometimes when
Nice.
you match certain cards, it adds fresh cards to those positions. So for example, if you match a couple of raven statues, it might reveal a staircase, a couple of cards that are a
Mm,
staircase. And that's how you can jump ahead levels if you go downstairs, or you can go down through wooden doors and stay on the level that
Mhm.
you're on. And the deeper you go, the harder things get. So there's a lot of these variables outside of just memorizing these cards. And so you might forget, like you might get into a big involved battle with a monster and come out of that and go, okay, where was that torch again? Which
mm,
card, right? So you have to sort
yeah.
of really kind of think. It's a concentration thing, and it's adventure. Uh, and tactical decisions and using of resources. So it combines a lot into this kind of really fun, different adventure that I haven't seen anything quite like before.
It's good,
And how
especially
much
for a
of the
solo
time
game.
how much of the time, Mike, do you think about your moves ahead of time, like before you make those moves and then you go into like, okay, where am I now? What am I doing? Like how much time do you emphasize thinking it through before you actually do something?
Well, you can. It's not time pressure, so you have all the time you need to think. You're never pushed into making a move you're not ready to make. But the thing is, as you match cards, they get eliminated, right? So there's less cards to worry about. As you match and uncover things, right? They disappear. So the amount of cards gets less, unless there are things that add cards, like that bring them back, like those stairs and different things, right?
Mm,
So and voiceover will tell you when that happens. This is done really accessibly. So voiceover tells you that the numbers of the cards. If it's dark in the room that you're in and you don't have a torch, then you just get told the kind of card. This is a kind of monster. This is a kind of structure, and you won't be told exactly what it is. So darkness makes a difference, but it works for us too. Like it's something that's accessible for us. We're not really left out of everything. So you can feel the screen and feel like, flick through your inventory, different things like that. It's all completely voiceover accessible. And you're basically just
okay.
flicking left and right, feeling around and double tapping to flip over a card or, go into settings, go into your inventory. There's music, there's sounds. You can choose whether to have the music on or off and sound on and off. And of course, you can use audio ducking with voiceover to make it so that things are balanced, so you're not overwhelmed by the music. It's kind of a neat xylophone kind of
I
thing. It's
love
it's
that.
very different. Yeah, very
Yeah, I
different kind
used
of.
to play this with like a plain deck of cards as a kid with my siblings, and we do
Mhm.
the same, card matching type idea. But I love
Mhm.
the inclusive side to this. Like it's a whole, and it's a twist. It's more interesting rather than continuing to just flip the cards and see
Match
what
cards.
you get. Yeah,
Yeah,
and
Yeah,
match
and it's
cards
yeah.
great.
exactly.
And it's great in the sense of, like, instead of having a map to worry about as a blind person, if you have spatial difficulties like me, I really struggle with building and maintaining my sense of orientation in these maps. But it eliminates, you still get all the decisions and the kind of feel of exploration, but without the danger of really getting lost. It's a matter
Mhm.
of remembering the cards. So you still can, it can take longer to uncover what you need, but if you forget what cards are and you're burning through energy, the more you have to flip. So it's still the same
How good are
decisions.
you at it,
It's just
Mike?
easier. I have not won it yet. I'm getting down to like the seventh or eighth level. It's and starting to need those torches to light
Okay.
my way. They only last 20 turns, so that is
Oh.
right. There are things like that, and weapons and things will wear out. Like there's all these
Mm,
mechanics that are happening in addition to those cards. So you got to think, okay, this this shield I'm using only can take a couple more hits. Do I want to change it now, or do I want to risk getting into this next fight before I do? So there's all these different things that you're thinking about as you go through this adventure. It's a really kind of diverse bit of fun to
and
Complex
really get
too.
into.
yeah.
Yes,
Are you
yeah.
are you a competitive person, Mike?
What's that?
Are you a competitive person?
I play for fun. I'd love to win this. There are a
Mm,
number of games that I'd love to win, but at my core, I just like to play them. So if I don't win
Mm.
them, it's not the end of the world. I like games I can walk away from. Like this is turn-based. It waits for you. So if you need to stop, do something else, you can. It's very good for sort of casual play. And it's also,
Mhm.
you can binge game this. I've played, like, I've had one game that lasted an hour and a bit before I unfortunately got killed by one of these monsters. Uh, but yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's very innovative, and it's still being worked on. The developer is eager for feedback. Any accessibility problems he wants to know about.
Oh, is this
There's
their
a lot of
first?
plans. Yeah, this is the first game
Okay.
from
Okay.
Rascal Magic Studios. What a name, Rascal Magic. That is
I love
cool.
that.
Uh,
Yeah.
they're just a couple of guys from brothers from the coast who love these kind of games since childhood, and they're just plunging into this. And I'm eager to see what they actually achieve in their roadmap for this game. If you go to their website,
Mm.
you can find all these things that they hope to do, and there's a lot of neat stuff they want to add. So very, very
Well, it's cool
interested to
because
see.
it's a very complex game with the strategy side, with the like how deep you can take it in terms of weaponry and like things running out of time and all that stuff, et cetera, et cetera. But it's still a solo adventure. I think of stuff like this, and I think Magic and dice rolls and D&D, right? But this is
Yeah,
actually you could just do this on your own, which is kind of
exactly.
I almost just
Yeah.
all the time wanna think of a variation where you could do one-on-one or more of a group game night kinda thing with this.
Well, one thing there that I've just noticed with that Dots RPG, they've got a set of Braille dice now. If you want to get into role-playing games, I'll have to perhaps review those at some point in the
Uh-huh.
future. But there
Why
are
not?
Braille RPG dice now that are available. So,
Ooh.
yes, yeah, I can maybe do that
I
Have
for
you
love
you.
the
So,
ever,
fact
mhm.
I love the fact, Mike, though, that the developer is literally like, come to me with your accessibility inquiries. Like, it's not something where it's like, release this game and I'm done. He's literally coming and saying, help me understand what I need to be better. Because listening to you, I'm thinking, I
exactly.
don't know. It sounds like fun, but for me, it's like, I'm so competitive, I would get frustrated. So for me, I like the fact that the developers like, help me understand what you need to move forward. Because it's
Yeah.
very easy to be like, I'm
Mm,
done and it's over.
And this is it, and I don't want to do any more work on it. Yeah, exactly. Unfortunately, there are a lot of developers that take accessibility in that light, unfortunately. But you run into
yeah.
the people like the people behind this game, and they're very eager for it. They've got, it's not just accessibility either. They've got a number of improvements anyway to do with this game that they intend to do. So it fits right in with all the rest. They're going to try to make it as accessible as possible,
Yeah.
similar to Doncaster. That's another roguelike deck builder that just won the Applevis Award for Best Game of the Year. Same deal. This is a developer who just really champions accessibility, and it's not an afterthought for either of these people. This is part of what they want to bring as many of us into their world of fun as possible. So
That's what we
yeah,
rely on. It's the community building aspect, I think, that pushes these things forward. AppleVis is a perfect example. Other platforms like this where we can kind of use uh, e- e- everyone's momentum and still continue back and forthing it so that it doesn't feel like it's a one and done. Like we have direct relationships with these people now, which is fantastic. Like
exactly.
that's the way that it should be. Mike, awesome. Looking forward to you reviewing those accessible dice as well, and then maybe getting into more of that stuff. But thank you so much for Bardcard.
Yeah, an absolute pleasure. It's an awesome little game. I'm glad I could
Yeah.
share the news with people.
Of course, and we can rely on you for any kind of audio entertainment review. So that's Bardcard on the iOS, Bard card. And to learn more about the developers or the game, you can go to rascalmagic.com. We're not forgetting that name anytime soon. Guys, it's been a fun Friday show. Nazi, Rock,
Yeah,
thank
easy
you very
peasy.
much. Easy
Yeah, thank
Thank
you.
peasy.
you.
It's because no adults were around, right, guys? Anyway.
Yeah. And we also had a mini
Sure.
Sunday on Wednesday, so it feels weird to have
There's all
tomorrow
the
off,
above.
right?
Speaking of Sunday on Wednesday and everything else in between, join us Monday for Michael Babcock's chat around documenting our lives using the tech that is helpful to do so. He's going to talk about journaling, but a lot of other stuff aside from that as well. That is us for Kelly and Company. Talk to you later.
Thanks for tuning in to Kelly and Company. Follow us on all social media, and don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel for more.